us to a world unseen, where ancient past and mysteries can be with Tor and Tyson and Mike in control. We're diving deep into Leyline Tour. Welcome to the Full-Grown Pizza Podcast, where conspiracies linger and legends outlast. From cryptids to secrets, our journey is fast. Today we explore where ley lines pass. So gather round as the stories align, tracing the paths of the Earth's hidden signs. This is the podcast where mysteries unfold, discovering ley lines and the secrets they hold.
All right. Okay, we are live. Episode 23 of the Full Grown Pizza Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure to hit the like, follow, and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you make sure to get that notification when we go live. This week, we're going to be talking about ley lines, and Mike's going to be hosting us through that. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right, so ley lines, something we talk about a lot on the podcast. So
I do have those pictures as well that you put in the Discord.
So I'm bring up that first one, the English ley lines that I labeled on, right?
Okay, so yeah, this appears to be that map that you're looking at. Yeah.
So ley lines were originally theorized by Alfred Watkins, and he theorized that the reason why they had, well, the reason there was ley lines is that all the archaeological sites like Stonehenge and Ashbury, stuff like that, lined up in England.
Mm-hmm.
And he noticed this one time because he's a big photographer. He actually made some inventions for photography, like exposure stuff.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So he was on a hill looking over the countryside, and he was getting ready to take some pictures, and he noticed that Stonehenge, if you look on the picture, kind of shows like the line from Stonehenge to Glastonbury and Anglesey, which is another historical site. See how they kind of line up. But he said most of the things that he could see was like Stonehenge, and I think there's another circle by it called like the Ashbury Circle or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like a big henge monument. And it's actually bigger than Stonehenge, but it doesn't have the big stones in the middle of it like the Stonehenge does.
Yeah, I was seeing that when I was kind of looking at ley line stuff. They had a guy who was like walking around. I think it was like Smithsonian or something. Went out there, and there was like this dude walking out, and he showed him that Ashbury Circle. And there's like this big circle of boulders. They weren't as big as Stonehenge, and they weren't laying on top of each other and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty impressive. It was cool.
And so he developed the idea of ley lines, saying that the reason why they lined up is his original idea was that ley lines was like the roads that the ancient people made to connect the sites. Mm-hmm. He uses those as trade routes. And if you look at that the long man picture,
this one,
the guy on the hill,
the dude in the hill, yeah.
He said that was one of the original cartographers, road makers. He was like trying to find the road or make the roads or line them up and stuff like that. Like those little rods that they use.
Okay.
To, like make a straight line, stuff like that.
So what exactly is this? Because I was confused when I saw this picture. Like what are we looking at?
So this is a ancient pictoglyph on a hill in England, and he said that it was a guy showing those two things on the side are like the rods that they line up. So when you make like a road, you put one rod down and put another rod like another, and then line them up, right?
Yeah.
So they make a straight road.
Uh-huh.
So this is like the tools that they use for road making. That's what he said. That was his theory.
That is something that was like etched into the mountain, or they put like rocks
It's like
there, or
chalk.
like
I
chalk,
think it's
or
like a chalk outline that they
yeah.
throws the hillside to the chalk that's underneath it.
Huh. That's interesting.
So it's a really old thing they have.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen that white horse? It's a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
petroglyphs. It's a big white horse that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in England too.
That makes sense.
But anyway,
Huh.
that was his theory, that these guys were making these straight lines between the monuments so they could travel between each one easier. Those
Yeah.
would be the major trade routes. But
Hmm.
they went through that kind of theory away because, I mean, there's like geographical concerns, stuff like that would make the roads easier to go. Not to do straight lines, but
Right.
the straight line was the easiest way to make the road. Anyway, that's what
Exactly.
everybody else
Yeah.
says. That's what archaeology says.
Right.
That was his theory. And it's interesting that at the same time he did his ley line theory, a guy in Germany promoted the same theory in his book. He had a book too called Alfred had a book called the old straight track, in which he talked about the theory about the ley lines and how the straight track was between each monument. And then
Yeah.
another guy called I'm gonna probably butcher his name, but William Topt, which was in Germany, and he
Okay.
at the same time in the 1920s, he came up with the same theory about ley lines, saying that these sites were connected by either trade routes or something else that we didn't understand at that time. And
Yeah.
like the Alfred Watkins, many of the historical landmarks he used was Stonehenge, a site called Old Sarum, and a bunch of cathedrals. Salisbury Cathedral, which is one of the big ones. And there's another line that's really famous. It's called the. Hang on a second. See if I can find it.
I just pulled up the ley lines map of the world, if that's what you're talking about.
No, it's there's a line that goes like through Europe that has a bunch of major
Oh
cathedrals
yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
This was because when I was researching this stuff, they were talking about that. It was like Saint Michael's Road or
Yeah, St.
something,
Michael's
or
Line or
Saint
something like
Michael's
that.
Line, or Saint Mary's Line, or something. Or
Yeah, you can,
maybe there's two.
but there's like a straight line you can draw through all the cathedrals in Europe that is kind of strange that they put them
Which
all in the
is kind
same.
of coincidental because when I was first looking into this, I was like, yeah, but you could take any point between two things and draw a line between it. So it's like, whatever. But
Yeah, but this
when
only
you
has 2 points, but there's
right,
multiple
right, but
cathedrals in it.
when you've got like 6 or 7 churches all lined
Yeah,
up, it
yeah,
is kind of
that's kind
interesting.
of weird.
Yeah.
And
So,
so some people say that the reason why they did that on those exact sites is could be with the astro archaeoastronomy or like
yeah, something to do with like the constellations and whatnot, like
yeah.
lining up with the constellations. Yeah.
But another interesting thing they talk about in the Wikipedia about the ley lines is that the Chinese had a theory about ley lines too, which they call dragon veins.
Hmm.
And they said that's the dragon veins, which were like our which would be ley lines to us, is where the chi of the earth runs through.
Hmm.
So like
That's interesting.
like the sites for like major cities and like major like mountains that they find sacred and stuff like that. Those were a lot
Yeah.
on the dragon vein lines. And then another thing that came through after Watkins did his theory, another guy came along called Mitchell, and he's the one that developed the idea that these ley lines had power or were like the Earth's like energy fields came through the Earth.
Yeah. Well,
And
like
his book,
what came to my mind when I first saw that, I think it was the St. Michael's line or whatever in the churches. What came to my mind is that, okay, what if there is some kind of resonance situation going on where there is like a certain resonating frequency or like a a material or something that resonates with a certain emotion or energy or whatever
yeah,
that makes it so like people are more susceptible to say spiritual things. Like we've talked in past episodes about gosh, what were we talking about? It was
like certain
like
frequencies can make people open to certain
yeah,
things.
like we talked about the poltergeist. There was like a 21st century poltergeist or something we talked about where we were talking about, how it might have just been kind of a psychic episode rather than that, but part of that discussion we were saying how there's frequencies that can make people more angry or sick to their stomach or whatever.
Well, I mean,
right?
there's always been like places where you go in and it just doesn't feel right, or you get like a creepy feeling just being there, or
Yeah. And so it
it
made
just
me
feels
think
ominous,
that
or
that
maybe there's some
maybe
places that make you feel good when you go there,
yeah, maybe like due to the geography of the location or like the minerals in the area or whatever, the construction materials, a combination of all the things
Yeah.
or the church organ or
I,
whatever, like it
I think there's like
might.
a correlation between like large granite like deposits in like haunting areas.
Yeah, yeah.
Like granite's
So
supposed to be a big energy absorber or transmitter, so a lot of places that like are said are to be haunted are by large granite outposts or deposits.
well, and one of the things that when I was looking into this too, I saw it was part of that Smithsonian thing. They actually had dowsing rods, and they were like out there, like showing how the dowsing rods work,
Yeah,
and
like how they
basically like
interact with the ley lines too. So
yeah, like if nobody knows what dowsing is, essentially you've got like these like metal rods that kind of stick out of these other metal rods, and you hold them, and then they kind of move around based on like energy fields and whatnot, or
yeah, it's supposed to
so
like
people
be able
claim.
to tell where water is underground and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, they
certain
use it to
minerals.
tell, yeah, water and all sorts of stuff. And so they were showing it at this location too, and I know that um, there's like people in the Catholic Church and stuff that used to actually use dowsing rods and stuff. It wasn't something
Yeah,
that like a lot of people say, oh, it's Satanist or whatever, but like they actually used it in the Catholic Church way back then. So I wonder if that's went into their construction planning. They were like, hey, we should build over here
well,
because
one of the things about the Catholic Church is that they are such a long, they got such a
yeah,
long
yeah,
history. I mean, if they went back to the back of the day where like the uh, who was it? The ones that they're like they do a lot of, I forget what they're called. They have a whole like not cult but like group about it. Like they believe in like the great constructor, and they have like the compass and the plane is like their thing.
Masons?
Yeah, the
oh, the
Masons.
Masons, yeah, yeah, yeah,
And if you go back in like biblical times, they said the Freemasons had all the secrets of building everything, and if they like
right,
gave some of their stuff to the church, so the church would leave them alone, and maybe the church took that stuff to build their cathedrals and
who
find out
knows,
where
yeah,
certain things are. Maybe that dowsing rod actually has more relevance than we think, and maybe
right,
they have access to that technology or to the teachings of it, so they know how to do that stuff. So if they would find the sites that resonate with people,
yeah,
and open them up to like religious experiences.
yeah, yeah. No, and because I think
Tune in.
it is very coincidental to be like, yeah, we just happen to build all our churches in in a perfect line with each other, unless they did it purposefully. They had a map or something, and they're like, all right, let's right here, like.
And you got to
But
think
then
about the
why?
ancients; they did the
What?
same thing too.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of examples of that. So I don't know.
Tune in next week when we talk about the Freemasons.
Oh, there you go. That's a
I
good.
know what a
I
good
actually I
stories
have
about
some
them.
personal stories and stuff about that as well.
Oh, really?
So
Oh,
yeah.
you're a Freemason?
No, I'm not, but I just know some people
Mm,
who are.
okay.
Yeah. So anyways, tune in
So
next week. Make sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe button. Yeah, just
yeah,
kidding.
hit the subscribe button
Um,
so you know when we do it. And
follow
another
the
thing
ley
that
line over to the Freemasons. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
so that Mitchell guy, the one that went after he took the idea of the ley lines and kind of expanded upon it.
Mm-hmm.
He said that a lot of the um, UFO stuff was over ley lines.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because
And
this guy, wasn't he in the military or something? He was in the Air Force or whatever.
a
Is
Mitchell,
that the guy you're talking about? I think
um,
I think when I was reading about it, there's like this Air Force guy who was, I don't know, studying something. He tracked the UFOs that he saw, the UFO sightings that he saw or came in contact with or whatever, and he saw that they all kind of move in straight lines, and they seem to follow these straight line patterns and stuff. And so I don't know. And then some people kind of took that and applied it to the whole ley line situation as
Well,
well. I don't know
what
if it's the
other
same
direction
guy.
are you going to fly?
Well, I mean, you gotta, yeah, but when you're flying, you can move in curves and arcs or whatever and things like
Yeah,
that.
but
But
The
apparently,
thing about flying is you can move in a straight line. That's what makes flying so good.
but I think the point of what they were trying to get at is that they fly in a straight line and then they just kind of like immediately fly in another straight line. I don't know. That was my understanding of it, but I see
to
your
be fair,
point.
UFOs are why we were all talking about ley lines this week.
Yeah, that's true. So, anyways, I didn't mean to derail you from that Mitchell guy. I just thought I was asking if that was the same person or not.
It could have been.
I'm sure there's a ton of militaries that are talking about UFOs.
Oh yeah, for
That
sure.
are Air Force, yeah.
Well, and it seems to be a common thing, at least from what I've seen in like UFO reports and stuff, that they, fly in like straight lines and these weird kind of unconventional, flight patterns that we can't do with our current aircrafts and, things like that, and stopping in the middle of the air rather than, just.
So I heard a interesting theory on that. So Joe Rogan did a interview with Luis Elizondo. Do you know who that is?
No, but I can
Hashtag
check.
Joe Rogan.
I was gonna say I can check that hashtag off our box now, and we're good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But Luis Elizondo was like the head of ATIP, the UFP program,
Okay.
which is like the descendant of Blue Book, and they did another bunch of
Oh,
other stuff.
okay.
They're like the modern equivalent of Blue Book.
Yeah.
And so what Luis Elizondo said, the reason why that they travel in straight lines is because they do a gravity, they have a gravity engine, right? So they can actually bend gravity. And so if you take like a paper and bend it together, you're actually going between the two pieces. They're not going through the whole space right there, right? You're just going straight across like a little wormhole.
Okay.
But to us, they're going so fast, but to us, it looks like they're just going really fast in a straight line. But they're actually going all the way through that space.
Gotcha. Well, you know what? That kind of makes sense because there's optical illusions and stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, but like on YouTube or whatever, there's optical illusions where it looks like things are like your brain will connect a line between two dots, even if there's not a complete line between the two dots, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that kind of makes
gonna make sense out of it somehow.
Exactly. So that makes sense. So while the UFO could be, essentially wormholing from one point to another, our brain is not, since it's going so fast, it's not going to comprehend that. It's just going to be like, oh, it's moving really fast, I don't know. That would make sense.
Like through the space, but
Tyson was talking about. Sounds like more like the ley lines were like slipstreams,
Yeah.
They like something that they ride along. But what you're saying also could make sense is that you need the ley lines to make the engines work to make that fold in the paper.
Yeah, it's like the electric line for like a trolley car. Let's get all the power from the ley lines and use that instead of generating yourself. And then and that's kind of like the theory that we had with the orichalcum, that it's a receiver for this, and that's why they need that kind of metal.
I know, that's why I was thinking about that when I was researching it. That maybe this is kind of the veins of this orichalcum, throughout the earth, and
it makes sense if you think about the dragon veins, which is the chi, which is like the energy source of the earth running through these veins. That's where you're gonna want to go. You don't want to go like in the middle of nowhere and try to get gas, So
right. Well, and then it also kind of makes me think that if you are familiar with orichalcum and you are, because one of the theories that I saw about ley lines is that as it's connected to UFOs, is that it's kind of a railway system or something. That all the UFOs like follow those ley lines. They kind of like, they're on a track almost. And it makes me think that potentially if this is like a orichalcum vein or something across the planet and they're utilizing this as a railway sort of system, maybe they've calculated the resonant frequency of this orichalcum or something, and they're able to kind of resonate with that, and that amplifies the energy, the sound energy or whatever, which they then just transduce into power to power their craft. And so it's like having an electric vehicle, but you're using a different form of energy that you're transducing into this form of energy. And I don't know. It's something that we haven't been able to detect quite yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's beyond our technology, so we're just theorizing. So we look at that ley line, the one with the Earth, the full globe. If you look a lot of the central points are where like the Bermuda Triangle is, like the Dragon's Triangle has the triangle there.
Yeah.
And they say, those have a lot of magnetic anomalies and stuff like that. And that's like signs of like electrical force or other things that could interfere. Maybe that's why we theorize that they could have like dark pyramids in those locations, like in the Bermuda Triangle. You see, there's a connection place near Alaska. Maybe they use that main line there as an outskirt.
Yeah, these connection points. Like, do you think these could be dark pyramid?
Where is it in
potential?
Mexico?
You guys see that one in Mexico? That one right there is actually kind of where they have like. Have you ever heard of the zone of silence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's
triangle.
like where
in
like
Mexico
electrical cell phones don't work.
Yeah, cell phones don't work. Radios don't work.
Huh.
Like machines break down easily because they don't get they lose power.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of UFO crashes there. I think it's one of the most struck places on Earth by meteors.
Really? Wow.
Which is strange.
That is
So
interesting.
you can't tell me there's some kind of force going on there.
Well,
That's
and
a
then
big central area for that.
and then
ley
right
line.
smack in the middle of Australia, there's one, which makes sense because it's like the most dangerous place on the planet with all their evil wildlife and everything. So, yep.
It's funny because
that's interesting.
It's like the top 10 deadliest poisonous animals are in 8 of them are in Australia. It's like, what the hell?
I know.
We're not going there.
Yeah. Oh man, that's where all the aliens like left their pet animals and pet creatures and stuff.
Well, this is like the best thing is like all the ley lines, all the ones that go from north to south, all converge on the north and south pole, which is why we say that Antarctica is like one of the main central hubs and fucking entry to Hollow Earth and whatnot.
Right, and that's why we talked about, last episode we were talking about was it last episode or the one before that, where we were talking about the whole Antarctica and the space base, the base and everything, the aliens visited.
Yes, that was a Hollow Earth episode.
Yeah, that was a couple episodes ago. Yeah, no, for real, it's definitely interesting, and then I want to point out because I do think that there's something here, some kind of value in that, but look how aesthetically pleasing it is, and like how everything like converges and stuff. Like that's something that it's one of those moments where it's like math and science and art kind of converge into something like all in and of itself. And I think like when you have moments like that, like you're onto something special,
It's the golden ratio, but in a larger scale, there.
I was thinking about the golden ratio as well, because I was like, man, it's one of those things where it's so mathematically and scientifically like perfect that it's artistic and beautiful, and like that's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was something funny that like we're talking about like this, like where the converge is where we have dark pyramids and whatnot, and if you think about Antarctica, you ever like look like with like Google Earth or whatever at it, they have it like censored out. And my thought is just like, what if you can just see the dark pyramid on the Antarctic one, and they're like, oh, don't do that, and it's covered it up.
They're like, nah. Well,
there's no city to cover it up or anything. It's just emptiness, and then this one black dark pyramid right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
the snow melted. The snow is going to cover it up.
Yeah, it did kind of. It also made me think of. I saw one video where it was talking about maps and stuff and how maps aren't perfectly proportioned accurately. Like they took like the size of Texas and they were like, this is how big Texas is on the map and this is how big Texas really is. And it like covered, a really big chunk of Europe and everything. So it made me think like, if our map was more proportioned correctly, or if everything was shifted more accurately, I wonder how all this stuff would line up, or how much different like that would change things. Because and while we do have these really dark spots that go kind of across the whole map, we also have these like smaller smaller points where the lines converge as well. And so you've got that one that's kind of up by Alaska, which could be like, based on whatever shifts are made to our mapping system, like that could be the dark pyramid. Or who knows, maybe the other thing is too, if the dark pyramids don't necessarily have to be right where these convergence points are, they could probably just be close to it or in the relative area or something to harness.
Yeah, you don't know how big the area is that it affects.
That could be like a high, like a high like amount of orichalcum or something, right? Like it could be a really concentrated area of orichalcum or something. Who knows? I don't know, but I think that's really interesting. That's really cool.
You see that one over Africa looks like it lines up almost with the Great Pyramid right there.
I saw that too. Yeah. Yep. It's like right over in Egypt. Yep.
Mhm.
Which is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. What else did you have before? You were talking about Mitchell, and we talked about UFOs, and
Yeah, Mitchell was the one that first theorized that the ley lines were being used by UFOs as either I don't know, power sources or like, maybe some kind of map system.
yeah,
With everything that we know about like dark pyramids or pretend to know, we just see if there's like evidence that says there's a dark pyramid in or Australia, right where that fucking the converges right there.
yeah.
See if there's like anything weird going on over there.
We should ask ChatGPT. Say, hey, tell us about the Dark Pyramid in Australia.
Is that where the fire started?
Oh man, could you imagine? Oh, dude, what if the Dark Pyramid had a freaking like, malfunction or something? Something didn't work right, and now it caused a wildfire. They're like, oh crap, whoops, sorry guys.
The other thing is like eucalyptus leaves, I believe. Eucalyptus trees, they produce oil around them, and it's very highly flammable. So
yeah,
that's why they catch on fire. That's also why California keeps on catching on fire, because they were gifted to California like a long time ago, and they grow eucalyptus around there.
Yeah. Well, and then they don't do any deforestry work at all either. Like my stepdad, he's a firefighter, and he's gone over there several times to help, with wildfires, and he's like, yeah, it's because all the trees are freaking dead. There's so many dead trees there, and they won't let them cut them down because the state is like environmentally friendly or something. And they're like, no, we can't chop them down because it's bad.
All right, back to the ley lines before we get political.
Yeah, I know. Okay, anyways, back.
You can't talk about California without getting political.
That's true. God dang it. All right, so
pretty much it on ley lines. It's just a theory about the history of them. And I thought that the dragon veins in China, how they came up with the same theory, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's also interesting how people from different areas of the world entirely can like come up with different things. And that makes me go back to kind of, well, like a few different episodes we've talked about where there's like different cultures that have different like ways of interpreting the same thing, but also
like they come up with different inventions at the same time. Like the radio was invented in like Italy and like Poland at the same time or something like that. And
right, and like how does that happen? It's like we're on some kind of.
You guys see that like one of the ley lines goes right through like what is it the Maya Peninsula in Mexico, where they have the pyramids also.
Oh yeah, exactly. I know, that's like, crazy.
Just look at all these lines and see where there's pyramids. I know there's pyramids in South Africa too, or South America, probably on there too.
It says Machu Picchu on there, so we're on one of the lines, and that's
that's pretty wild. Yeah, there's a lot of coincidences. Let's say it's like
there's an Easter.
I mean, the biggest coincidence is that fucking Western Hemisphere is making pyramids, like same as the Eastern Hemisphere. Is like, why are everybody making pyramids?
Right.
And like, well, we saw this dark pyramid that produced a lot of energy and we wanted to imitate it, but I guess we got the wrong stones.
Yeah, wrong material. Whoops.
Yeah.
Sand is easier to use than the dark, the other stuff. Limestone or whatever is easier to use.
Poor man pyramids, they didn't produce anything at all.
They're like, dang. No, but that is something that's, really interesting how it, because
but then we do pictures of light bulbs because we wanted them so bad.
I know. I mean,
use the fucking orc logic and like believe.
Exactly. They're just manifest it. We can do it.
Yeah. Draw the light bulb on the wall. Maybe it'll manifest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's crazy because then unless you can show evidence or proof that somebody from that area of the world also went to another area of the world within a relatively recent time frame, it's hard to explain how you've got two of the same exact constructions, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting unless there's some kind of external thing connecting it.
No, it's like, only thing is like, only for like first pyramid I could think of like would be like Egypt. They're from Egypt and they go all the way through Russia, across the land bridge and into South America. I'd be like, yeah, I saw this thing a long time ago that was really cool.
Right.
build one of these.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. But that's, I mean, it would
got
take them
nothing
so
better to do.
long to get there and to do that and to travel and like all that stuff. It's just like, oh my god. Yeah.
How long did it take to cross America? Like a year or so when people were doing the Oregon Trail?
Yeah, exactly. So that's just crazy to me. But it's cool because there's like something to be said about humanity, that there's like a intellectual thread, between us or something at like
Yes.
certain periods of history and whatnot, where we're all kind of
Some point in our
synced
history,
up.
we were like, build
Did I ever tell you that
pyramids,
thing about the random
mine
number
gold.
generators?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a. We get into ancient aliens with that. If you guys want to go into that today, but
Well, it's all part of the big full-grown pizza conspiracy with the whole dark pyramids and everything.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
But we're gonna do a whole thing on ancient aliens, so we'll save that for that.
Okay, we'll save that. Did you
But
want to
there's
get
the
into?
thing that they did. Where
That's for the
like,
clip show on the year-long special.
Oh yeah.
where they
We're gonna
did
hire somebody else to do that because I don't want to do that.
there was a study done, and like before like a natural disaster, like some reason that random number generators come up to the same numbers. And it's like a lot of people thinking of the same thing at one time. And it's just
Yeah.
and it's weird that they did. I don't know what the exact thing was, but there's some study they did, and like around the world that they have these random number generators, and they watch them, and then like right before a disaster, they'd all start coming up with the same number like repeatedly. It's like
That's
there was
crazy.
like a global consciousness that was aware that something was going to go on, but it was affecting the.
That makes me think of like the random number generators. Makes me think of WoW because it has
Yeah.
like random numbers. It was like, what if like suddenly people started winning the same like rare loot in a dungeon like a week before a disaster? It's
yeah.
like, oh no. Like 10 people got fucking invincible. Something bad's about to happen.
Oh no. Could you imagine if you just you're like, all right, you get the guild together and you say, okay, we're gonna spend the next 30 minutes just thinking about this mount and see how many people get it. Man, that would be hilarious.
Manifest on your word.
That'd be awesome.
Everybody
Yeah, we
pray
should
for
put
this
that to
mount.
test, guys. Let's go get WoW.
All right, let's do
Everybody
it.
get WoW.
I actually do want to get it today after the podcast episode, the new expansion.
I want to get it too.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of talked about that on a podcast before, how when you got a bunch of people together and they all pray for the same thing, things would start happening, you know.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is
That was like a
something.
major.
It's a very popular
reason for
episode of
creation.
Supernatural in the first
Oh,
season
yeah, I remember
when they did
that
good
one.
stuff.
Yep, I remember that one too. I mean, because there is something about like our brains, like our consciousness. A lot of people. There's like this big debate about, oh, is consciousness like just the brain, or is it more than that? And I think that there is something more to it, because like if you get into quantum mechanics and everything, and how things don't appear to function the same way or be there the same way if they're not observed by a conscious agent, and things like that. Like there's all sorts of interesting things where I think consciousness is so much more than just part of the brain.
Yeah.
Like it connects. Like there's something there that connects us all together, tethers. It's like part of the fabric of reality. It's like it's like time and space and consciousness are all together to like create this cohesive universe that we experience. And so I think, and then we also create things like random number generators and all that stuff, and there's clearly a logic to the universe because of mathematics and stuff. We can understand things about the universe. And so I think that there is this interesting kind of correlation where you can kind of manipulate things with your own conscious experience. It's not entirely based on you, but it's like a when you've got a whole bunch of consciousness together really focusing on trying to get one particular thing to happen, you can do pretty amazing things, even if it's not
That's just
exactly
like
what you expected.
The Chaos Wizard episode we did, if
Yeah.
everybody
This
got
is like
together and did,
that
like, a
one
Chaos
riddle, or
Wizard
not
club,
the.
it'd like make everybody more powerful, because they all believe in the same thing, work for
This
the same
is like
thing.
the
Maybe that's why
the
they do
riddle
covens and
of
stuff like that.
what's it called? Like the game show host riddle, or
No,
There's
I
like-
don't know.
there's like-
I don't know.
oh, there's two doors. One has a prize, the other has the bogus thing.
Mm-hmm.
and you have the game show. The game show host knows which one the prize is behind.
Yeah.
You make your decision, and the game show host asks if you're sure, and they
Mhm.
say that if he does that, you got to switch what you said, and you have a higher
Okay.
chance of getting the right win.
He's subconsciously trying to help them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
like
also
increases your
another
chance by
thing
33%.
that I was thinking when Tyson was talking is that, like, when you walk into a room and everybody's in a bad mood, you can feel that bad mood. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't it be
Yeah.
like magnified by people? So like if everybody's in a bad mood in the country and maybe they're gonna go to war with somebody, everybody can feel that.
Yeah.
That's just like the thing they said, like always trust your instincts because your subconscious is way better at reading people's body language than you are. So when
Right.
you get like a bad buy from somebody, you gotta trust that sometimes.
Right.
But also, it's a part of like something called magical thinking, which is like a form of anxiety,
Mhm.
where you're like, if you think about something bad happening, it's probably going to happen.
Right.
Like you're putting it into the existence.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah,
right. I mean, if you choose to focus on negative things, your brain is going to be on the lookout for negative things. Like you are going to notice more negative things, and then you're going to compound that on top of itself, and you're going to conclude that, oh, I just went through this whole negative experience. But it's like the negative's always going to be there, but so's the positive. The positive's always going to be there too, and it does kind of depend on where are you going to put your focus, what are you actually going to think about, and how are you going to prioritize all that stuff. Because you're right, the more you think about this negative thing happening, the more likely that negative thing's going to happen. It's going to influence your mood and the way you take action and the way you everything. And so it's and I think to kind of tie it back into the UFO thing, like the aliens must know much more about this, right? Like they're much more in tune. They probably have it mapped out in like a book or a tablet somewhere, and they're like, yeah, consciousness, it's like the thing that connects all matter together, or whatever. Or like, all the intelligent beings of the universe are able to do things with matter that,
maybe they can tap into that, and they're waiting till we get like our consciousness, like global consciousness, is ready to accept UFOs, and they're like, oh, we can't do anything until we get ready for that.
Maybe that's what it is. Like we were talking about, I don't know, remember if it was last episode or whatever, but one of our recent episodes we were talking about, I think this was Atlantis or something. We were saying how, we're not ready yet for it to be upgraded to the next tier of, technology and power and all that stuff.
Yeah, we haven't unlocked that tree yet.
Maybe we do need kind of on a global level, like a global consciousness, like we're all together on something. You know what I mean? Like we haven't really had that. We've had moments where certain countries are in solidarity on things. We've had moments where technologically we're in solidarity. Like, oh, you've got pyramids popping up over here and pyramids popping up over there, but we haven't had like a whole collective like solidarity. Everybody's together.
We were very, very close with Pokemon Go, but then somebody had to hold somebody up at a fucking Pokestop.
I
know. And it ruined everything.
Come on, man. Come on. Who is it that does
first,
that?
like,
Niantic or whatever? Come on.
So, yeah.
You were so
first 2
close.
weeks of Pokemon Go, it was like a little world peace. It's just
Dude,
like, hey.
That's true, man. That was cool. We were part of that. We were like going around and doing stuff.
You go to like a park and there's like a whole group of people and they're all trying to help you find Pokemon. People like giving out food and battery charges and stuff.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. That was almost weird, to be honest. Like it felt kind of different. It was weird. But
isn't it sad that fucking peace feels fucking weird and different to you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was a little uncomfortable. I was like, "What is all these people like helping each other and stuff? What the heck?"
Who the fuck is this guy? Tell me where a Bulbasaur is.
Yeah, who are you? What is going on? Yeah, no, but remember, I think it was you and I. It could have been somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it was you and I. We were driving around late at night, like getting Pokestops and doing gym battles and stuff. Do you remember that? And then we drove. Was that you?
I think so. Is it when we drove through the cemetery, trying to first look for the ghost Pokemon?
Yeah, we did that. We did that. But then remember, we parked in this like parking lot or whatever because they had a gym.
Oh yeah.
And then we had a cop pull up.
To us.
There was a cop who pulled up to us, and he was like, what are you guys doing here? Like, you're not supposed to be here. We're like, what? Like, what's going on? It's just, there's a gym. There's a Pokemon gym.
I didn't see the cop. I think that was you and Devin.
Oh, maybe it was me and Devin. But,
Yeah.
oh man, it was sketchy because we were literally just looking at our phone and being like, okay, here's a gym. Drive over there and we'll park. And so we went and we parked. Apparently we were trespassing, and we were like somewhere where we weren't supposed to be. It was like some
Because I remember you guys telling me the story.
yeah, it was like some security company or something, like, and the cop pulled up and he was like I thought we were gonna get arrested or something because he didn't know Pokemon Go. Let's just say that he didn't know what the heck we were talking about. He was like, a gym? What are you talking about? Like, what? We're like, no, it's a game. I promise. They've got a gym right on top of that building. He's like, I'm so close to taking you guys in. You don't even know. Sir, you're going to have to step out of the car. No.
Yeah. I wasn't in there for that.
Oh, man. Yeah, so anyway, that was crazy.
That was like maybe the second time you were approached by security with Devin, and that was like the first time. It was when we were like went to that like country club or something. We're like, what the heck is this place? And we were walking around.
Yeah, I remember that.
This guy's like, what are you guys doing? Like, well, we're just trying to figure out what this place is.
Yeah.
This is private property. Get out of here.
Man, we have a bad like habit of wandering onto private property, like wandering into trespass areas apparently on accident.
Hey, if there's no gate, come on.
There was nothing clearly saying, at least that we saw, that said we were, trespassing. So, whatever.
I already knew we were just walking around on the street.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
Are we talking about world peace?
Yeah, world peace, Pokemon Go. It almost got us there. Yeah. No, yeah, for real though. Like
I was gonna say, like, one of our things was that we were saying that aliens aren't actually space travelers, but dimension travelers, because traveling between dimensions is just easier than fucking traveling through space.
Yeah.
And there's like the theory could be like basically like not the grays, but the blondes could just basically be us from a different dimension where they actually progress to the tree that we want.
Yeah.
They're like a fucking professional. Like, we're playing fucking Age of Empires, and they're fucking professional level, and they're like 20,000 years ahead of us, and they come to help us, and like, hey, you guys are way behind.
Like, oh my god, you guys have started over too many times or something. Like, what are you guys doing?
You guys still have microchips? What the fuck?
Yeah. You're
Where's your crystals?
You're too busy like naming all of your individual units and stuff. Like, what are you guys doing?
None of your cities have fucking dark pyramids. What the fuck? How are you making power?
Yeah,
well, Las Vegas kind of got it, but that's just a casino.
Yeah, they got the right image, but they fucked up everything else. Like, how'd that happen?
That kind of makes me think about that. What we were saying about when people come up with the similar inventions in like different parts of the world is like, they need this invention now. Let's send it to multiple people so we know it gets out. That way we get that. Make sure they get that tech tree or whatever, and start down that path.
Yeah,
it's funny because like there's like several like recurrences like that. Basically, like mostly in like media because it's like easier to track. Like on the same day in a different like in America and in England on the same day they debuted a comic called Dennis the Menace. And it was two different comics, but they're about a boy who's like basically a menace.
Crazy.
Dennis.
That is weird. Like, there's something up there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
like they need Dennis the Menace, so let's send it down to multiple people, make sure it gets out.
But that thought of like the aliens are dimension travelers and they're checking on us, they're ahead of us kind of thing. It makes me think that there's an end point, right? We're all leading up to something, or like we're on our way to something. The end game.
I feel like they're sending those inventions so they make sure we make progress,
Right, because some ambassador from the other dimensions or whatever is coming in, and they are nudging us in the right way and like helping us along.
It's like your little brother you want to help in school, like here's the notes on this test.
Exactly.
Somebody's level 80 and they're going back to the starting zone to help people fucking level up and get here.
Some little guy, some noob.
But that means that the level 80 person is ahead of us on a path, and they're trying to get us to follow on the same path. But then they themselves must be on a path, moving forward. So I'm wondering, like, they probably also have had you know, dimension travelers, nudge them along and stuff. So I
Yeah.
wonder, like, what is the end goal here? What is that going to look like? And what are we all heading
I don't know. That's
towards?
a good question.
I'm not sure.
Peace, utopia.
Yeah.
Could be
universal
peace, because you do have the blondes and everything that are, you know, that they seem to be
Nuclear
hyper
war is
focused on
bad.
peace and stuff like that. So I
And
don't know.
whatever it is, we're never gonna see it.
Ultimate peace, yeah, and it's not in our
That's way in the
lifetimes.
future. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We are definitely not on the right path right now.
We don't even have dimension travel figured out, so screw that. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We still driving cars. Come on, people.
right. Yeah, so
Look at the aliens. They use a track line system. Apparently, it's better.
apparently, geez, yeah, we need to use trains more often.
Yeah, trains.
Ley line trains,
Trains and buses.
public
You
public transport.
You know how much fucking land you get back if you don't need fucking parking lots?
Oh man, I know. Hey, we do have flying
I mean,
cars. Flying cars
it's
is
like-
that's like a real thing now, but it's not
Yeah.
consumer use.
That's like what 3 city blocks if you fucking get rid of a stadium's fucking parking lot alone.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, there is like that whole discussion of, you know, just imagine if we had, you know, less highways and roads and all that stuff, and everything was more consolidated and like together, and there was less distance between everything. Like, there would be a lot more land. But then again, there is the argument that, you know, people wouldn't have as much private property. It would all be like, you know, open land and stuff, which would kind of also suck. So I don't know, but it is kind of interesting to think about, you know, just based on some little shifts here and there throughout our history, like how things could be dramatically different. Oh.
True.
Do you guys want to talk about Easter Island for a little bit, or would you rather just talk about
Let's talk about
games
what we've
and
been
movies
doing.
and stuff?
Games. We'll save Easter Island for another time because I want to do a good hour on that one. So
Okay, cool.
Easter Island's pretty interesting. So
Yeah,
I mean, if you want, I could do it next week, and you just do. And then,
no, it's up to you. I think is it me next week or is it Tor next week?
No, it's me.
Okay, and he's doing
Oldest to youngest.
well, yeah, you're doing
Freemasons.
Freemasons. Yeah, well, maybe save that for your
just
for your
for
next time.
It's no fine.
Okay.
No problem.
So,
Easter
anyways,
Island's interesting.
what you guys been up to lately? Watching, playing, anything like
I
that?
don't watch anything. I never watch anything.
I've been watching some good anime. There's some good anime going on right now. There's one called Failure Frame. It's really good.
Failure Frame. Okay,
Yeah,
what's
it's
that
like
one
this
about?
guy they do a summoning ritual and they get a whole class full of people, and he's like the lowest of the low, but he has one special talent. You know how it always goes with anime. So
Yep.
but he can do like low level, like he can do like poison, sleep, and paralyze, and that's all he can do. But he can do it to anybody, and that's like something that doesn't exist in that world. And so he just uses that, and they send him to a dungeon to die basically, and he just uses that over and over again. And he has to do. Have you ever seen that one where the guy eats the monsters and gets stronger? I forget what
You
it's
mean
called.
like every single type of those animes?
Well, yeah, usually.
I don't know about one where he eats them,
That's
but
not a big
yeah.
thing. I think he has a summoning bag too, so he pulls food out of that. But anyway, he uses that over and over again until he gets super strong, and now he's basically trying to get revenge because the goddess sent him to the dungeon. But it's pretty good. It's really good animation too.
Huh.
And they do a little bit too much computer-aided animation sometimes that throws you out of it. But I mean, they do it decent. I mean, they're doing better at it. Some of those animes do that computer animation too much, and it throws it out of it. You know.
Where it's kind of like
This doesn't look
3D-ish, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can tell it's computer.
I don't like that either because they don't. It's like too framey. It's kind of
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit
janky.
into the anime, and it kind of takes you out of it. You're like,
yeah,
but this one they did it all right. I mean, there's sometimes it doesn't look so good,
yeah.
but they're actually getting a lot better at it. So
No, that's good.
that was a really good one.
Hmm.
And then there's another one. Oh yeah, it's called. I already told you about that. Wisteria Wand and Sword. That one's a pretty good one.
I don't think I know that one either. I'm
So
glad you're
the
giving me
guy-
these options though, because I watched.
Did you ever watch that? So What, I'm a Spider?
I started watching that one. I'm still watching it, so
It's
I'm
pretty
not
good.
that
It's
far
pretty
into
good.
it. But yeah, I started watching it.
That one's funny.
The only thing that's kind of turning me off about that one is I was just watching the reincarnated as a slime or whatever. And I
Uh,
feel like it's so similar to the reincarnated as a slime one that I'm kind of turned
I
off
thought it was
by it.
more RPG, like because she gets skills and she has to.
Well, okay, so I'm
How
not
far are
I'm
you
not that
into it?
far. I'm really not that
Okay.
far into it. But
Yeah, you gotta
the
get
thing
like 10 episodes.
is like the very first thing that the person does when they become a spider, they're like, "Oh, I need, I have skill points to spend. I wanted a skill. I'm going to get the skill appraisal." And it's like that's the skill that the freaking slime has in the slime anime. and it's almost
Yeah,
like they
no,
watched the slime
I think
anime
that,
and they were like, "Let's make one that's the same except the spider." and
uh,
and it made me think like, is this the same production studio? Like, I don't know, but
they're both good animes.
I
I
need
like
to
them
give
both.
it. I think I just need to give it some space after the slime anime because I feel like I'm watching the same thing, except
Watch
just a
that with
different.
Stereo, and that was Stereo's pretty good. Or the Failure Frame. Or
Yeah,
the
I'll
other one that
watch
I was
one of
watching
those.
is Why Does Anybody Remember Me in This World? That one's pretty good too.
Huh? Yeah,
That
I'll have to
that
check
one's
it out.
interesting.
I don't
I've been watching
think
that.
I've really watched much of anything recently.
You been
Been
playing
super
anything?
busy. Not much, not really. There is a game that just came out on Game Pass. I was watching a YouTuber play it, and it looks really fun, called Core Keeper. Have you guys heard of that
What's
one?
that about? No.
So it's kind of
No,
like, did you guys ever play Stardew Valley at all, by chance?
no.
Do you
Not
know
really.
of it? Okay.
Yeah. The
Or
farming
like
game, right?
Valheim or something. So it's one of those
Harvest
games.
Moon.
Well, it's one of those games where there's like, world bosses. There's like a whole bunch of world bosses, and you're kind of making your way through them and stuff. But as you're doing that, you're going around and you're crafting things, you're killing things, you're getting loot, you're getting materials, you're crafting things, you're building like different facilities and workbenches and things at your base to help you make better gear and armor and all that stuff. And it's
Yep. Sounds like Enshrouded.
yeah, so it's similar to that, but it's like a top-down kind of like more pixel art kind of style, and
Mm-hmm.
it is multiplayer as well. And so yeah, I was watching it because it seems like Stardew Valley, except if Stardew Valley went more combat focused with like world bosses and stuff instead of more focused on just like taking care of your farm and talking to people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I played that like for a few hours recently, and it's pretty fun. I like it. I like those kinds of games because you can just keep. There's always something for you to do. You can go like, oh, I'm gonna craft things, or oh, I'm gonna go explore this way and fight things and
Yeah.
whatever. So that's been a lot of fun. I haven't played it too much, only a few hours, but it has been pretty cool. And it's Game Pass, so it's free if you got Game Pass, and I would
Not Game
recommend
Pass.
checking it out.
I'm playing a lot of Diablo 4 with the new season. It's pretty fun.
Oh, really? I've been
Yeah.
thinking about, getting back into it because I had fun with it for a little while. I got to max level and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
then,
I like the
it was
seasonal play
fun.
because it's kind of a different story, but you do different quests and stuff, and like the builds
Like,
change with the kind of build you can do. So
How I feel about Diablo 4 is I didn't hate it, but I just heard that its fucking end game's not great. So I got to the end game like it's not gonna be great. So
I think they got a
But
lot of improvements to it.
What turned me off about it is that I got to endgame and everything, and I was doing the nightmare dungeons and all that stuff, and I was having fun with it. But then they came out with like the second season, or it was like the next patch or whatever. And basically, what they did is they nerfed leveling. They made it harder to level, like it takes longer to level up.
yeah,
And they also made it so nightmare dungeons weren't as rewarding or something. And I was like, well, what the what, like, what, you just want me to spam more of the same thing? Or like, I don't know, I just got really kind of turned off by it because I was a little over my class I was playing druid. I wanted to try something different, but it's like, oh well, you just made leveling much more difficult, so I don't really want to do that now. And then I also don't want to do the end game stuff because you just made that less rewarding. And so I was like, well, never mind. And they nerfed the crap out of my
Yeah.
class and everything. So it's just like, well, I'm going to go into it. I'm going to feel weaker. I'm not going to get as much rewards. And if I want to
One
start
good thing
over,
about the
it's going to
seasons,
suck.
they do a lot of changes, and I heard they did a lot
I-
of changes for the end game too. So.
I've heard that it's a lot better now. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, I should give it a chance. And then I never do. I forget about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play it so much. But Tyler likes to play it, so time to play it together.
Like, hey, you want to play this game, but make it more grindy? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah,
It's
you do.
It's exactly what I
pretty
was thinking.
grindy.
Yeah. I know. It's like, you want to make it more grindy than it is? Oh, God. Yeah. So, anyways, that's where I'm at. But I have been watching a whole lot of stuff on World of Warcraft and the new expansion and all that stuff.
Yeah, talk about that.
I haven't watched anything on this because I wanted to go in there fresh.
Well, I mean, from what I've watched, I'm not like getting spoilers, like story spoilers and stuff, but I'm watching like, just what people think about it and, people's reviews and reactions to it and stuff. And
I like how they made it more solo friendly because I never really like joining up groups. With
I
other
like
guys.
that too. And the reason I like that, and I actually haven't heard any of the people that I've watched say this, but the reason I like that kind of content and that kind of gameplay is that it allows you to theorycraft stuff. Because going back into this expansion, I kind of want to play my warrior because, Tor, do you remember when we were playing and I had my warrior and I was like Fury Spec, but I also had a shield and like a two-handed axe or something, and we were like testing things and playing around with stuff, and like that was cool. I liked how we could theorycraft, but I didn't like how we had to theorycraft going into like, just fight random mobs. Like I would love to take that into a dungeon or take that into some more difficult content where I don't have to feel like, someone's going to get pissed off at me for testing some kind of, meme build.
Yeah.
See, what I like about this thing
you
is
have a solo character. You don't have usually you have like a solo character and a group character, and this way you can have one that you play with groups and one play by yourself. So
Yeah.
you get bots to help you.
this thing that I like about it is the usually thing that turns me off of WoW is nobody's playing. I'm just by myself, and it's just like, this isn't fun anymore. I'm fucking just grinding by myself, and I don't really want to join anything with anybody.
Yeah.
Because, it's not much fun. Because, like, it's more fun if I'm fucking up with Tyson than it is when I'm fucking up by myself.
Exactly.
So I can be like, oh, I fucked up. Whereas it's like, oh, fuck, I fucked up.
I know, exactly, yeah. You can have fun with it when you fuck up.
The idea that, like, I don't have to wait for Tyson to play or anything. You just be like, I'm going to go in the dungeon by myself. Oh, I fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. So
plus, I probably get a lot of more followers if I fucking stream.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be. I do want to give it a shot. I do want to play. I haven't even paid for it yet, so I have to buy it and pay.
I definitely want to give it a month.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like about it is that it's a paid sub. It's just I get busy doing other things, and it's just $15 down the drain that I'm not playing the game, and it keeps going and going. You forget about it, and then
when you forget about it, that's the problem. Because when
5 months later, you spend a lot of money, and you're like, oh, I didn't do anything with it. Damn it.
Okay, so here's something I was actually thinking about earlier today. I got this gum, and it's got like B vitamins and stuff in it, and like green tea extract and whatnot. And I was thinking, because it was like $2.60 something, like I don't know, you could round it up to like $3 maybe at the grocery store that I got it at. And I was thinking like, I'm almost out of it, and I just bought it not too long ago. So I was thinking, man, okay, is this actually helping? Does this, give me energy? Does it help me or whatever? And then I was thinking, well, it's $3, and I'm almost out of it now. So if I had to buy this like twice in a month or something, then that would be $6 a month, and that's like almost half of a World of Warcraft subscription. And so I'm thinking, if I were to get 4 packs of gum, is that or I guess 5 packs of gum since it's $3, but 5 packs of gum versus a World of Warcraft experience, I would probably get more value in terms of entertainment and everything out of the World of Warcraft than I would value out of this pack of gum for, to give me a month's supply of pack of gum. And so on one hand, I think that $15 a month is actually a pretty good deal for the content that they're giving you, but you're also paying for.
Just do it like Diablo. I mean, you pay for one time and you play the whole thing. I mean,
like one thing I think about with the World of Warcraft, this sub is about if like you can get like people to actually like watch you. You only need like 4 of them to sub to you, and you got your sub paid for, and you just keep on going.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
you can play it, and you can earn the money to keep on going with it if you stream it and you're entertaining enough.
Wasn't there one
But
thing
I
at one
think-
time where you could turn gold in for like actual cash and pay for your subscription or
You
something?
can do
like
Yeah,
that.
you can still do that.
Still do that.
Huh.
I bought a month before with that too. But I still need to buy the next expansion, which sucks.
Yeah. Well, and then this expansion was pretty controversial because they had early access. Like, if you purchased like a $100 package or something, then you get to play the game 3 days earlier than everybody else. But what was controversial about it is not only that you could do that, but also the people that got to play 3 days earlier, they were content gated. So they reached a certain point, and it's like, okay, you can't play past this point now. You have to wait till everybody else can play. And so it's like, okay, so you didn't actually give them 3 days of extra access, so that sucks. But
Yeah,
at
you
the
gave
same,
them a demo.
but at the same time, it's like the other people now they have to play catch up with these, with other people, and they're already gonna have to play catch up, and it's just dumb. And like that doesn't feel good, right? The good feeling about starting a new expansion is that everybody's all together, all doing the same stuff. The world feels very alive, all that stuff. But you lose that when you break it up between people who paid $100 versus paid $70. It's kind of ridiculous. So I
Especially
don't
if they're
know.
already like influencers or Twitch streamers, and then they're already way ahead of everybody else, and they can show them like new stuff.
Yeah,
People got to catch up to them. They've already had how many hours in already, and they're already at that point. So they just, oh, look at what I'm doing right now. This is a new part, and nobody's been to it yet, but I've been to it. So look at this, and
yeah, exactly. So
It's like that one anime. What's it called? Tyson knows. He watched it.
Sword Art Online.
Yes.
That's the only MMO one I can.
He was a he was a beta tester, and he's like,
Yep.
fucking beta tester.
I know. Yeah. They always said that. They were like, "Oh, damn beta testers." Yeah.
I don't know why they fucking hate him. You probably tell me it's because like
I
they
don't know. I
catch
just,
that the guy was gonna fucking do that shit or something.
because the
Beta
beta
testers.
testers know the secrets or whatever, like they know everything already.
They're
Yeah, it should be like,
OP,
fucking help
right?
us, get us out of this fucking
Yeah, I know.
world.
It's like, oh, you're great. Thank God we have a beta tester in the group. Yeah, exactly right. I don't know, but yeah.
Maybe it's
So-
just because all gamers hate beta testers in real life. It's like, beta tester, you got in the beta. Fuck you.
it's because they're salty that they didn't get beta access. Like I always feel that way when a new expansion comes out, and I'm like, dude, I've been playing this game for 20 years and I don't get an expansion. Come on, guys. Like, I don't get beta access. Like I know I don't play actively all the time, and I don't have an active subscription, but come on, guys. Like,
Yeah, go by my character's age. This guy's been around like as long as this
Exactly,
game has
come
been
on.
out.
yeah. So, anyways, I am probably gonna buy that after this stream, and
Anyways, like in many new games I played, I played one game. I got it. It was called Played Up.
played.
I don't know if you ever played Overcooked. Familiar with Overcooked?
I'm familiar
puzzle
with
game?
it. I haven't played it, but
It's like one of those diner simulators where you like cook the food, make the food, give
Yeah.
it to the customers.
mhm.
Played Up is like that, but it's a roguelike.
Oh, that's cool.
Like you only get one customer to be upset at you, and then you're shut down. But like you gain levels, and you can learn new recipes and get new fucking equipment and stuff. And
Oh, that's really cool.
like I was able to get pretty far. It's like a 15-day before you get to the overtime, and I made it 15 days being in a coffee shop. So
Oh, nice.
because I got to the coffee shop, I got to open a franchise, which basically like let me have like all my equipment back when I started over again.
Oh, cool.
But then I like abandoned it, so that was gone. But yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just fun, and plus it's like
Sounds
multiplayer, and it's Twitch integrated. So like your streamers can come into your restaurant, order their food,
Oh, that's
and then they
awesome.
get to vote on what your fucking next upgrade is, and just like sometimes they fuck you over.
Oh man.
Like I was playing with one guy, and he's like, they got voted that sometimes their patrons set their tables on fire. They're
Oh,
arsonists.
no. Oh
It's
no.
just like, what the fuck? you guys
That's
voted for this?
terrible. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just
Oh, man.
it's a fun game.
That sounds fun. I mean, roguelike
It is fun.
games have quickly become my favorite genre of gaming, I think.
They are fun.
I
That's-
really
yeah.
enjoy those. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you give it a look. It's called Played Up. It's on Steam.
Played up. Okay.
Played
Check it
Up.
out. All right. Well, Anything else you guys want to say, or should we wrap it up there?
No, that should be it.
See my Twitch. I changed my name. I'm not Skeletor anymore. I'm Toxic Grin Gengar because of a whole thing, but it's fun.
Okay, awesome. Cool, we'll have to check that out. Thanks everyone for watching and tuning in for this episode of the Full Grown Pizza Podcast. Make sure to hit the like, follow, and subscribe button. Send a comment as well on what you guys think about ley lines and UFOs and consciousness and all the crap that we talked about today. Like, this was kind of
or what anime you watching or what game you're playing.
Yeah, anime, games.
What do you think of the new World of Warcraft expansion? You into it?
Yep. So this was a fun episode because it was kind of a amalgamation of so many different things. I liked it. It was cool.
Everything's starting to come together.
Yep. So if you enjoyed this episode as well, make sure to hit the like, follow, and subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we go live next time. And we will see you guys then. Have a good one.
All right. Play that outro music.